Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Betting Pros live stream. We're talking about some player props here for, of course, the Tuesday games. It's a rarity in the NFL, but we do what we can do. Yeah, we have to be honest with each other. This is a tough sort of slate that we're going to try to navigate here. We don't know a lot of what's going on. We know now at least who's going to be in, who's going to be out, but it still doesn't help us all that much. In particular, we don't know how the Rams backfield is going to break down. So what you're looking at right now is the prop bet cheat sheet. By the way, I realize I'm wearing earphones for absolutely no reason because it's just me talking here. So I'm just going to take those off. No big deal. Not like I've done 7,000 shows in my life. All right. So a lot of people have been asking about the Rams backfield. We don't know. It's a hot hand approach, according to Sean McVay. So the player prop for Sony Michel consensus projections you can see here for the prop bet cheat sheet over at bettingpros.com/props says 54.2 for Sony Michel. The line is 44.5. I'm just not going near it personally because I think it's largely guesswork. We don't really know exactly how it's going to play out. So that is not where I'm going. Now, again, you can see on the prop bet cheat sheet, we are in week 15. I am in this Seattle versus Rams game. I'm going to get to Washington and Philadelphia next, but that's a little even tougher to do. And I'm looking at all bets and all players and best odds. You can see up here the locations. You can go to your location if you want. These are the best available. So the bet that the prop bet cheat sheet likes the most is Odell Beckham Jr. over 50.5 receiving yards. They have a projection for him at 61. I do have this as an edge to the over as well, so I'm not above betting it. I don't have quite the edge that the prop bet cheat sheet has, but I do like him. What I am going to do is see what other Odell Beckham Jr. props there are out there, because I do think that he's going to get the ball a ton, even if it's going to be short. Now, the problem is that the reception total for him is 4.5 right now. Now, it's juiced pretty heavily there, but regardless, I think that that's just a little too much for me. If it was 3.5, I would be willing to go after it. At 4.5, it's just too much, even though I would have him projected for over that. So if you are going to go somewhere with Beckham, which I think is fair to do, I think you're probably going to want to go over on the receiving yards, which again is the number one prop bet recommended by the prop bet cheat sheet. I'm going to go back to all players here, but I do want to check some receiving yards. And with this, you're seeing basically all the projections for the Rams receivers as over, not the tight end, Kendall Blanton, of course, but you've got Beckham over 10.6 yards. Cooper Kupp, whose best one is 100.5, projected to go over at 100.9.4, and Van Jefferson over 45.5 at 52.1. I would lean the over on all of these. There's just no way I'm taking the over on Cooper Kupp for 100.5 yards. That's insane. Like for just a standing prop. But regardless, if you do want to do it, if you have to go one way, that is where I would go. I'm more enticed by the Beckham prop and the Van Jefferson prop. If I had to go, I actually think there's more of an edge with that one going there. But one prop that you can see the prop bet cheat sheet is leaning under is DK Metcalf at 75.5 receiving yards. They have been projected for 69.4. I actually have him projected slightly lower than that at 68.3. And I think the under is the play for that one, as the prop bet cheat sheet says, because I think as much as there's going to be an increased volume here, because you don't have Tyler Lockett, you're going to see so much defensive attention focused here on Metcalf. Jalen Ramsey, obviously, but I think you're just going to get a lot of others sort of taking him out of the game, making Russell Wilson go to another spot. So I do think that they're going to try to take DK Metcalf away here. And I think they're going to limit him in his yardage. So I do lean under 74.5. I'm going to now go back to all stats here and see what else the prop bet cheat sheet likes. Now, Russell Wilson passing yards, as much as it's one of the recommended, that's because the yardage difference is higher than most props. It's just -9 yards. I don't have a great feel for that one, or Cooper Kupp. You'll see that Rashad Penny is recommended to the over here. His line is 50.5. The prop bet cheat sheet has him at 57.9. I actually have him at 61.2. So this is something where I do see a mild edge here for the over. But of course, Penny has the potential here to obviously not make it out of this game alive here with all the injuries that he usually suffers. If he does stay healthy, if he gets the volume that I expect, which again should be in a game that I think might be closer than people expect, despite the fact that the Rams have everybody off the COVID list and Seattle is still dealing with it. I think Seattle is going to try to keep this game close. They're going to lean into the run as much as they can without Tyler Lockett. So I do expect Rashad Penny, if he's healthy, to get upwards of probably 16, 17 carries in this game, which means he should be pretty easily able to beat this number if he does stay healthy. A lot of people are talking about some touchdown props and everything like that. You guys can go there. Somebody has Jefferson scoring a touchdown at plus 225. That's fine. I don't mind that whatsoever, especially with any of the Rams receivers. I do think that the rushing yards prop for Russell Wilson here, he has not rushed very much lately. I mentioned that on a different podcast that I do. His rushing yards have really been kept in check, but I do think that you might see the over here in a game where they're going to get pressure, the Rams, and so Wilson may have to take off, and it's not going to take much for him to pop over the 12.5. So some that I like here are 12.5 rushing yards over for Russell Wilson. I also like DK Metcalf under 75.5 receiving yards. I like Rashad Penny over the 50.5. And I like Odell Beckham over the 50.5 receiving yards. One other one that you might want to look at is Freddie Swain. Now that Tyler Lockett is out, 29.5 receiving yards. There's not much of an edge here with the prop bet cheat sheet, but I do think that this is something where it legit could be one catch. So in that point, it's worth it for me. So that's another one that I lean towards. All right, let's get to the receptions. By the way, someone's asking about Cooper Kupp. And in fact, let's just get to Cooper Kupp's reception total. And I mentioned you can just click on their name as well, and it will give you all the props. It's 8.5. I mean, if you want to go somewhere, I'd probably just go over because you got to basically assume that he's going to get in, 9 or 10 at this point, especially against Seattle. But it's just too rich for my blood. So that is one where just not something that I really want to go after. Let's get to the other game tonight. And again, you can drop down by matchups and you can see where you're at. So let's go to the Washington at Philadelphia game. The Garrett Gilbert prop, it doesn't matter to me what the projections are. I'm just not going near it because I don't really know what to expect from a guy who just kind of walked into the building. So I am there. I don't love the Terry McLaurin prop, despite the fact that the prop bet cheat sheet sees a great edge, I think, for a couple of reasons. Number one, I have no idea what to expect from Garrett Gilbert, as we just said. Number two, he's probably going to get Darius Slay, and he hasn't done all that much of late anyway. So it's fine. If you go anywhere, I guess I'd lean the over, but I don't see as big of an edge as the prop bet cheat sheet does. I do like the Jalen Hurts over rushing yards prop. Now, it's a big one at 44.5. But, I think if Hurts is 100%, I think you're going to see them rush quite a bit here. Quarterbacks always do well against Washington. So I do think that I would lean the over for this one as well. Other than that, we're really, really stretching here, which is why I took this game second. Antonio Gibson, he's got 59.5 rushing yards, 67.4 is the prop bet cheat sheet. I just don't love this one either. I mean, you're going to see plenty of volume, but you're also going to see a tough Eagles defense that stops the run pretty well just line up to make Garrett Gilbert beat them. So it's not one that I really love, but let's go through here and just check on a couple of different ones that we can see. Let's do passing yards here. Again, Hurts at 185. There's a very narrow edge there. Garrett Gilbert at 190. There's, again, it's just not an area that I really want to attack. Receptions, Devontae Smith, 3.5. I don't love that either, even though the prop bet cheat sheet has the over. I mean, you can look, you want to rely on the prop bet cheat sheet, go for it. You can see up here the week 15 top accuracy on the receptions prop, 11-4. And their favorite one here is Devontae Smith going over 3.5. So you can get there if you want. That's not really what I love, though, because I just have no idea how much Jalen Hurts is going to need to pass in this one. I mean, the over-under is minuscule. They're now 8-point favorites at this point. So I'm just not going there with that one. Receiving yards, again, another one. They like Terry McLaurin. They like Devontae Smith. I'm just not going near any of these because I think that we don't know what to expect. It could be a game where it's just nonstop rushing from both teams, which is why I bet the under earlier before it dropped now below 40. I have it at 41. Tried to get it 41.5, but I missed it. How about rushing yards? Again, Jalen Hurts at 44.5. Miles Sanders, there's just no way to go. I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. Like, I understand why the consensus projections have these numbers where they are, but for me, it's not where I can go. Gibson rushing yards. This is sort of going to be an interesting one. Again, the prop bet cheat sheet likes the over at 67.4. I'm not positive I agree with this just because I do think that the Eagles are going to do everything they can to stop the run. Now, Gibson's a great running back, but with everything that's going on with that offense, I'm just not sure I touch it. Now, again, the prop bet cheat sheet wants to go over. So I understand the consensus projections, that's where they are. So if you are going to bet one way, I would just trail the cheat sheet, but it's not something that I really want to go near. That's it, guys, for this game, because this game is just bookmakers are not willing to go out on a limb given all the uncertainty. So we're really looking at, maybe the Jalen Hurts rushing yards. Again, some people are looking at the Antonio Gibson rushing yards. I've got Mike Cobb, who's in the chat right now. Hello, Mike. Nice to see you here. He says he's got over 49.5. That's a number that I wouldn't mind taking. That's fine. But at 59.5, again, it seems a little too rich for me. And all the receiving yard props for all these guys, Jalen Hurts may throw 12 times in this game. So it's just a little tough to get there. So full disclosure, I'm not going to this game for many of my props. I would, again, I think there's some value that you can have at the Rams game with Seattle, whether you want to go Russell Wilson rushing yards, Odell Beckham receiving yards over, DK Metcalf receiving yards under, or wherever you want to go for that, or maybe Freddie Swain, who's going to, in my opinion, go over his 29.5 passing yards. But that's it. Again, you can find all these props anywhere you want at bettingpros.com/props. You can sort by game. You can sort by player. You can sort by type of bet. You can do it for every game that you want to do. So again, just check that out. I'm going to be back again for the standalone games here. That'll be Thursday. And then maybe Saturday if we can do it. And if not, we'll be back Monday. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here at youtube.com/bettingpros. And we're putting out all our podcasts, everything like that, the Daily Juice videos, as well as these prop bet live streams. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. I'll talk to you again.